Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Quarantine Bunker Studio. I am your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, and we are going back to the fourth floor of Super Potato in Akihabara to look at PlayStation 2 games. Now, I am not an expert on the PlayStation 2, so this will be a learning experience for both you and I as we go through these games. I've already actually looked through this video a little bit just so I could look up some of these games. To begin with, on the far left, this is all new to me. If you see over here, I think this should be working. Yeah, okay, you can see my mouse pointer here. We've got a very interesting item here, which is it's a PS2 port of an arcade version of Castlevania. So the original Castlevania so we all know like the original Famicom NES version. There are apparently like 5 other versions of it that are like all like sort of same spirit of gameplay, but essentially different games. Where there was one for the arcade, there was one for like the MSX, the Famicom version, and like 3 other versions maybe. This one is a port of the arcade game that came out in like '88, I want to say. And I actually kind of wish I had bought this because I've never seen this before. I only just learned about it to film this video, and it's going for like $50. Yeah, so I guess a note today, the yen is like 107 yen to the dollar. That's where it's been hovering, I mean, more or less for like the last 5 years. And like $50, that, like, you know, maybe you could find this cheaper somewhere else. So the thing about, I've said this in all of my other videos about Super Potato. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to this style of video, Super Potato is well known in the collecting community. It's well known by people who like video games, who go to Japan because it's sort of seen as this sort of like this shrine or this like museum almost to retro video games. And I feel like they price accordingly, where they try and take advantage of that status in their brand. And hey, if people are willing to pay these prices, then so be it. There are going to be cheaper options like Trader, especially for PS2, because PS2 still isn't quite seen as retro in Japan yet. So it's more of like, it's on that cusp where you can still find it at a place like Gayo, which is sort of like, it's almost like a Blockbuster, so its days are kind of numbered, but it's still around, where you can still find this at a lot. You can still find PlayStation 2 games at a lot of different places. Just keep that in mind when we talk about the prices here, because we've got a lot of interesting stuff here. Like, let's see, Dobansto Taisen Ryaku. This is a strategy game, and what's very interesting to me about this, let's see. So they've got notes here. Oh, yeah, I should note about the Castlevania game is that there is some damage to the manual, and apparently it is missing a music CD. It came with a soundtrack, and so apparently if it had that soundtrack, it probably would be priced up maybe an extra $20. So maybe that's why it's so cheap, because Castlevania games are, in general, really expensive, particularly in Japan. And then we've got this Advanced Taisen Ryaku here, a strategy game, I assume. I've never seen it. What I like about this is the 2500 Sega series, which I'm pretty sure this is a series of games. You can actually see them all here, and it's very interesting to me how expensive they are. Is that this was a series that came out where all of the games were 2,500 yen, so about $25. Oh, and I should note that all of the Super Potato's prices do include tax, and that it does not do tax-free as far as I can remember, although I haven't bought anything from Super Potato in a long time. So what's funny to me is that these are now going for about twice. These used copies of games are going for about twice what they sold for new when they originally sold. Like here you've got what, SD Karutetto? I've never heard of that, but it's going for about $100 now, which is great. When it used to, you could buy it new for like 2,500 yen. I mean, probably maybe even up to 10 years ago, probably. Yeah, and then we got Espagluta. That's a big shooter that I'd say that's fairly well known in the amongst shooters. Did Espagluta, was that Cave that came out with Espagluta? I can't remember if it was them or not. Indonesia. I don't know. That was a game. We've got ADK Tamashi. That's going for $110 for that. Man, now I'm starting to feel real old when I start to see Wii games that are getting expensive, but the PlayStation 2, I think, is really where the money's at right now. I don't think the Wii, there are a couple of $100 plus games, but I mean a couple for Japanese games. Whereas the PlayStation 2, seeing these prices, I'm really surprised to have seen PlayStation 2 games get so expensive. Then we've got, oh, is this like got out? Yeah, it's a Neo Geo game. It's like Mark of the Wolves. Is that the one? I always forget the fighting game names. Battle Archives. I'm guessing that this is a set of the Garou Mark of the Wolves games. Then Neo Geo or like SNK Playmore released a lot of like ROM sets or ROM collections for the PlayStation 2, and that falls into a category which I'll probably bring up every video, but it is contemporary releases of games for past systems. So this is true of like Game Boy Advance, PlayStation, particularly the PlayStation 2, because they released a lot of these for the PlayStation 2, which they're like collections of past games for like say, so it's a Neo Geo collection and it's worth like $50. But if you especially look here, Gunbird 1 and 2, Gunbird was originally for the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1, and then I think Gunbird 2 came out for the Dreamcast. And then they just ended up releasing it for the PlayStation 2, and that collection is worth $80 now. It's like, what? Like, it's a port. Like, and the original's actually, I mean, when you think Gunbird 2 is like, what, $60? Maybe 70-ish, I think. It baffles me why this happens, but it's really particular to Japanese games. I don't think it really happens for their English counterparts, but someone could maybe correct me in the comments about that, because I'm not sure myself. So we got Galaxy Force 2, that's going for $70, and then we got the Gregory Horror Show Soul Collector going for, wow, $85, even though the manual's a bit damaged. None of these games really, this Gunbird, so, okay, and then I should probably talk about the price variance, just in case this is your first time. You'll notice here, most of these have little notes on them. That means that something's like probably wrong with the game. So if we look at Gunbird 1 and 2 right here, we can see that. We've got the one on the left is going for 8,770 yen, or it's like 78 yen. And then the one on the right is cheaper by like $2, but that's because the manual probably has some creases in it. There's probably some little damage to it it's really cosmetic. There's no actual problem with it, but if you want like a mint copy, you're going to want the one on the left. I think Super Potato, they're a little strict on their condition. They're not as, I think, as liberal as some other places might be. Anything else here? There's a Gundam game that's expensive. What is this? Gire no Yabo. Akushizu no something. Destruction of the Axes. Of the Axes. 5. That's going for $50. Wow. I didn't think Gundam games don't really get that expensive very often. Although occasionally they will. We've got games. So this is a Game Center USA. That's going to be let's see, Midway Art. Wow, so it's a collection of Midway arcade games. That's $130. Oh my god! Like just meme it. Like, come on. What is that? Yes, someone's gonna really. Oh, is that a Contra? Oh man, this must be the arcade port of Contra. That's going for $50. That's like Hamster put out this is the in the same series that Castlevania game that we just talked about. Wow. $50. Cyverior, let's see. So we got Cyverior. How much is that? The glare. I apologize. The glare's in the way. I want to say that's $50. And then we've got Cyverior 2, also going for about $48. We've got like 4 copies of the Ultimate King of Fighter. Or no, the King of Fighters Unlimited Match. We've got, 2002. That's going for about, wow, look at that's a huge price range. Oh, it's not too bad because we got the copy here that's about $90, and then the copy here that's about $80. I didn't think PlayStation 2 games, how do you mess up those? Like, maybe it's just because they're getting older now. Like, the PlayStation 2 is like, 20 years old now? So some of these games, like, if this is 18 years old, it's a miracle that it survived this long. Then we got Thunder Cross. Oh, man, I really love to play that. That's going for $60. That's, one of those arcade games. And then Thunder Force 6. What was the last one? I think I have Thunder Force 5. Thunder Force 6, you don't see that often. It's going for what? $47. And Shiba Imachi, I wonder what that is. It's going for $90. Shooting Love Trizeal. I feel like I've heard of that before, but I can't recall what exactly it is. $50. So we're going to see a lot of shooters in here. Like even the PlayStation 2 shooters, they've really shot up in value along with like Xbox and Xbox 360 shooters. Like I was thinking even like 3 years ago, those are what I should be buying, and I would have been right because they like have doubled in price all over the place. And then, oh yeah, this is part of that Sega 2500 series. These are a bunch of ports of like Genesis Mega Drive games, because we've got what, Space Harrier 2, the port here going for like $70. $70 for the PS2 version of Space Harrier. It's mind-boggling. And then Sega Memorial Selection, but we couldn't. It's 6,900 yen, so like $63. But who knows what's on it when. I've said this a lot, and I'll say it again. I feel like these particular showcases are the most intimidating because unless you know Japanese or know exactly what you want, what is even the point of like reading all this? Like it is just all like, and especially if you're just like a casual PlayStation 2 person, like I am. I don't know 90% of these games, so if I don't see the cover, what is there to entice me to actually buy these? But then maybe you'll save money that way because you're not just going to like blow money on games that have a cool cover. A couple Beatmania games, like there's a couple of Beatmania games, or there's at least one or two that have become like some of the most expensive. Like I want to say Empress, or there's one Empress game that I feel is like $200 now. That might, it can't be this one, unless Super Potato usually overprices on the really old stuff, so like Famicom, Super Famicom, PC Engine, whereas with the newer stuff, their prices are actually fairly okay, like Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, maybe. I haven't done any price comparisons on this, so I can't tell you if they're overpriced or not. But these don't seem terrible, but that's just because I don't know what I'm talking about, so maybe they are. And then when we got Fantasy Zone here, they've got like what, 4 copies of Fantasy Zone going for like $50. Panzer Dragoon, like just like Panzer Dragoon for the PlayStation 2, going for like $36. Just buy the Sega Saturn version, which is like $20. Like even at Super Potato, it's like $20. And then we've got Train Simulator. I really wish I had bought some train simulators when I left Japan. I unfortunately didn't have the time to find them, but this is the Kyushu Shinkansen. That's going for $80. Would love to have that. And then we've got I don't know how to say those kanji, but it's another train simulator going for $55. There's a couple of Densha de Ghosts that got put out for the PlayStation 2. That would be really fun to play. I'd really love to have that controller. Let's see, another train. Hold on, what is this? This is, what is that? Kyosei. Oh, this is like a subway simulator, train simulator here. It's going for, man, I didn't think train simulators got that expensive. It's like $85 for a train simulator. You gotta really love train simulators. You gotta be a crazy person like me to buy these. And we got Dragon Ball Z 2V. Is that $200? A Dragon Ball Z game for $180? That's like, yeah, it's almost 22,000 yen. That's what? Oh, and then here's Dokapon Kingdom. That's going for like $45. Dokapon Kingdom is one of the most expensive Wii games. I want to say it's like $150 now for the Wii. And then the PlayStation 2 version. And then there's another one. It was supposed to be a Pocky and Rocky game, but it ended up like getting a low print run, and I think it was even pulled off shelves, and so it's like a $200 Wii game. It's a $200 Wii game, and I think it's like $1,500 for the PlayStation 2 Japanese version. It's crazy. Oh, and then here's a Tokyo Bus Simulator that's going for $35. Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. So we got some Xbox 360, Wii, and original Xbox games. Fatal Frame is, I wanted to say it was the most expensive Xbox game, Fatal Frame 2. It's going for $100, but it's at the same price point as Outrun 2, which I've not seen before for the Xbox. Wow. Okay. And then we've got Conquer Live and Reloaded. So that's the Xbox port of what is it? The N64 one, the Conquer game for the N64. That I completely forget the name. That I completely forgot now. That's going for $90, and then we've got Spike Out Battle Street going for $70, and the first and one of the Fatal Frames, if yeah, special edition Fatal Frame going for $70. So yeah, Xbox games in Japan are very hard to find. They're not super expensive. I want to say these are the most expensive I've ever seen. I think the one I was thinking that was $200. I think that was like a new copy of Fatal Frame 2, like like a sealed copy. So I don't know what's going on with that. Here we go, the Wii games. These aren't even the most expensive. They're kind of expensive. This is a Harvest Moon game right here. This is like a $5 game in America, but in Japan, I think it was printed in low quality, so like $50 or like 45 is actually not bad. I think it's lower if you find it at Geo. You can find it for like $30 if you're lucky. Then we've got what is Zenkoku Dekotora Matsuri going for 50. I've never seen that before. Then we've got another Fatal Frame game. Or I want to say Ray is Fatal Frame, right? In Japanese. This is $40. Including tax, it's not terrible. It's about 35 at other places. We also have the special edition, the Famicom and Super Famicom versions of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. It's a 25th anniversary collection. $40 is fair. That's what I've seen it go for. And then this is, I think, another survival horror game. It never got released in English, I don't think. It is $63, which is about what I'd pay for it if I was looking in. Like, I'd really love to get into the Wii. If I was back in Japan, probably what I'd be getting into now was like GameCube and Wii. That's where I think there's still a lot of games are going to start spiking in value over the next few years. So now is, I think, really when you're starting to see the prices go up. And it's interesting to me, although no, these are all Japanese. So I wonder why these are so expensive, because we've got a copy of Red Dead Redemption that's going for $60 used. And then Fallout New Vegas, the Ultimate Edition, going for $60. What? And you should probably find these at Geo for real cheap. Like Book Off, you could probably find these for not they can't be that expensive. Xbox 360, I don't think it's seen that huge a jump, because the thing about the Xbox 360 in Japan is that no one bought it. So yeah, I can see that games are going to be in low print, but maybe it's just because people want to play these in Japanese and it's hard to play it and find it anywhere else. That's strange. Or maybe it might be another collection, like someone who wants to complete the collection. Maybe these are very hard to find because they are the Zero Z. So a lot of games in Japan, when they're released by foreign studios, those games tend to actually get like two versions sometimes, or they'll either have a lot of blood removed so they can get like one of the ratings that they can be sold to everyone, whereas the Zero Z is like the M in Japan, where it's like, GameStop or whatever the equivalent of GameStop is, they're not going to be selling it to kids, and they're a little bit harder to find, so that might be why they're more expensive. We've also got Namco Museum Virtual Arcade is going for $50. Splatterhouse is that $60? Okay. And then Skate 3, if you want Skate 3, going for $40. It's so fascinating to see these foreign games going for like really high prices when these are $5 games at GameStop. Then we've got, what is that? Shutoko Battle X, going for $60. And then Birds of Steel, which I think is like a World War II flight sim, is going for $50, $48. What else do we have here? So, a couple PS3 games. Like, just seeing PS3 games in the showcase is like, man, this is how far. I remember when you could buy PS3 games new. So what have we got? Nobunaga's Ambition with the power-up kit. This is $50. Those tend to be, for some reason, the Nobunaga's Ambition with the power-up kits, regardless of systems, like, they get really expensive. Like, even today, the Nobunaga's Ambition for Switch is really expensive. It's like $100 with the power up kit. And then we've got Lego Star Wars Complete Saga going for $50. So the Lego games tend to be they hold their value for the older systems. World Heroes Gorgeous going for anywhere from $50 to about $43. Wrestle Angels Survivor 2 going for $90. I've never heard of that game. That's not Rumbling Roses, is it? No, I've never heard of that. Yeah, I've never heard of Wrestling Angels. So it's Wrestle Angels Survivor 2. Yeah, I've never heard of that. But it's going for like $90. That's crazy. Or even this one over here, like the good version, the good condition one is going for $100. That's wild. Anything else I recognized? Raiden 3 over here, $100. Yeah, Raiden is pretty expensive. You're lucky if you can find it for 90. Ooh, Giga Wings. All right, I can already spy it over there. All right, we'll get to that one. We'll get to Giga Wing later. What do we see? We got the Tokyo Bus Simulator over there. We already talked about that. Tecmo Hits Parade going for $80. Another ROM collection. I feel like half of these. Look at this. So this is Taito Memories. We've got Taito Memories 1 and 2 going for like $40. Half of the things in this showcase are just collections. Yeah, and then we've got some of the best hits versions of the Taito Memories collection. Soul Divide and Dragon Blaze. Oh, those are some really good games. Soul Divide is okay. So these are Psycho shooters that were I think arcade games. Dragon Blaze is really, really good. If you can, instead of buying this $160 for a ROM set. No way. Instead of buying these, buy the Psycho collection for the Switch. I think the first one in Japan, or it's the first one has both Soul Divide and Dragon's Blaze. Dragon's Blaze is fucking phenomenal. Ooh, I hope YouTube doesn't ban me for that. But that is just how passionate I am about Dragon Blaze. And then same goes for Sengoku Ace and Sengoku Blade. Going for like $55? No, just buy the Psycho collection for the Switch. Why are you going to buy these ROM sets? all of those are collections. That's crazy. Here we've got Metal Slug Complete going for $40. Although $40 isn't bad if you want all of the Metal Slug games. And then we've got Mushihime Sama going for $50. Not terrible. Wish it was $40. What is this? Ban Pitoroto? I haven't heard of that. Oh yeah, okay. And here's Giga Wing that's going for $100. Giga Wing for $100. My God. I want to play these shooters, man, but I don't know if I want $100 play Giga Wing. And then here we go. So I would say of all of the retro game shops that I've been in Japan, I think Super Potato has the highest volume of sealed games. And I don't mean to say that they have a lot, but they have definitely more than you would expect. So let's see here, and maybe I can even talk about how much these would be if you found them loose. Rockman X8 is $200 sealed. It's like a $20 game if you're buying it loose. Rule of Rose, $400 for Rule of Rose. Oh my God. Although that is even for the Japanese version, it's still pretty expensive. I think it's at least a $200 game now when you're buying it used. We've got Persona 3 Fez going for $120. Beruwoku Saga, Busan. It's a fun RPG that's I think sort of in the Wizardry Saga. $200. I think it's a $10 game when you're buying it loose. Final Fantasy X, $80. Parappa the Rapper 2 for $80. And then we go Duel Masters. Anything? Densha de Battle. Interesting. Okay, and then we've got the Sengoku Ace and Sengoku Blade sealed going for $150. Interesting. And then we've got Fatal Frame Zero going for $150. There's just Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturnes going for $200. King of Fighters 2002, $80. King of Fighters 94, the remix, going for $60. Silent Hill Sharded Memories going for $100. Silent Hill 4 is $100. Is that $100? Yeah, that's $100. Let's see. Godzilla Dairanto, Kaiju Dairanto going for $130. Anything else? And Akaito going for $60. I've never seen that. I don't know anything about these games. Like, oh, Galaxian Jeru 2. Don't know what that is. $50. That's like some like on this, like the sealed games. You know, I made this video a while back about how sealed games, they're not like collecting. There are sealed games in Japan, but collecting them isn't really a thing quite yet. For one, because there's no grading authority in Japan, unlike in America where you've got like VGA and WADA, and so there's not a super premium on these old sealed games, but there's obviously a market for it if this is what they have. So we've got some PlayStation games here, but I think we're about at the place where I need to take a break and where I'll jump into this in the next video. So what I'll say is what the stuff we just saw. What is absolutely shocking to me is just how many of those rare PS2 games are just like ROM sets. And it blows me away at the prices on a lot of that stuff. For one, because I'm guessing people are only buying them because they want to complete collections. Because a lot of those games, especially those Psycho games, they've been re-released since on different platforms in much cheaper versions. So I'd highly recommend you play those versions. The other games that we saw were shooters that were very expensive, along with a couple of just like probably games that like Rule of Rose. I'm surprised they didn't have any used copies of it. But seeing it at $400 sealed does not surprise me. I should note that I know recently, so I'm filming this, you know, I don't even know when this is going to come out, but I'm filming this beginning of July, end of June. And this is around when a lot of the English versions of games are getting more expensive just because of the times that we're living in right now. And I filmed this as I was leaving in Japan, or as I was leaving Japan towards the beginning of May. So just to give you a sense of, you know, by the time we're able to even go back to Japan, I wonder what the price on some of this stuff is going to be. Otherwise, Super Potato, the PlayStation 2 prices don't seem too absurd to me. I'm actually probably going to look up some of these later when I go just to look it up on Surugaya's website to do some price comparisons. Overall, nothing is terribly shocking compared to what I've seen at other shops. However, I would always recommend that when you are actually physically in Japan, you're in Akihabara, to shop around, compare prices before you buy, because no matter the place, even if it's a really good shop like Trader or Friends, it's always going to be cheaper somewhere else. On that note, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to dive back into the PlayStation games where they have a lot. This is barely even half, not even half of the showcase on the fourth floor in the Super Potato at Akihabara in Tokyo. I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, saying thanks for watching, see you next time, and mahalo.